session, we have none other than Mr. Budi Tirtawasada, Chief Executive Officer, Panorama Group, interviewing two industry veterans as they share their views on the Indonesia's hotel industry. Mr. Tirtawasada joined Panorama Group in 2004, focusing on the development of the tourism and hospitality industry in Indonesia and other related tourism investments. The first of our interviewee is Mr. Haryadi Sukamdhani, Chairman Tourism Association, owner and CEO Shahid Hotel Group. Mr. Sukamdhani is an Indonesian businessman who has also served as a general chair of the Indonesian Employees Association since 2014. His career as an entrepreneur began in 1992, where he became the president director of PT Shai Dadolin Textile. Our second interviewee is Mr. Sapta Nirvanda, Chairman, Indonesia Tourism Forum. Mr. Nirvanda has an extensive background in international and national public service, including state-owned enterprises. Please give them a round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
Good afternoon. All right. What a challenging afternoon. It's 4 o'clock. I just had my coffee, so I hope everybody will be up and awake as well. This afternoon we have a very honored to have Mr. Sapta Nirvanda. He is the chairman of the Indonesia Tourism Forum, non-profit organization which focuses on promoting Indonesia tourism and support the industry to become excellent. The Indonesia Tourism Forum is associated with the World Tourism Forum Institute as its global partner. Mr. Sapta also served as a vice minister in 2009 to 2014. And he is a tourism enthusiast and has been regarded also as the guru in the tourism industry. So please welcome Mr. Sapta as well. And we have a prominent speaker also, Mr. Haryadi Sukamdhani, chairman of the Confederation of Indonesia Tourism Association (KIPI), which coordinates 36 tourism associations in the tourism industry, including hotel and restaurant, airlines, recreation park, professional tour operators, travel agents, and also serve as the owner of Shahid Jaya Group, a group of hotels in various cities in Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, in this morning we had the minister, Mr. Pandu, to talk about the macro landscape of Indonesian tourism industry, including some high-level explanation about what is happening in Indonesia and what to look forward. So this afternoon, we would like to talk with Pak Haryadi and Pak Sapta heart-to-heart basis. The title of this session is Hearts from the Tourism Industry, a message to the new government. What it means, Pak Haryadi comes from the real sector. He feels thoroughly what is the industry is facing, what homework needs to be done, what problem is still challenging. Pak Sapta as well, since he became a private sector, has been voicing out a lot of tourism sector ideas and inputs to the government and to the industry as well. So this afternoon we will listen to these two gentlemen, and we have got a few sessions, there's a few faces, and I would like to invite also some questions from the audience if time allows. Anyway, we have 30 minutes to go. Hopefully we can cover some interesting topics. I will start with Pak Haryadi. Pak Haryadi, from the KIPI, the Confederation point of view, and the private sectors, what do you think, and what do you think where Indonesia stands in terms of progress in the tourism industry development? What challenges you see the most being faced by the industry? And is the industry on the right track after the pandemic?
Thank you, Pak Budi. Good afternoon, everyone. Talking about the situation, Indonesian tourism situation now, if we put the standard of performance in 2019, actually we can say we are almost recovered. So if you see from the international flight, it's already recovered 99.7%. So it means in 2019, our passengers, international passengers, is 8.95 million passengers, and in August 2024 is 8.93 million passengers. So this is for international flight. For the domestic, recovery rate is 85%. Passengers in 2019 is 35.87 million passengers, and in 2024 in August is 30.45 million passengers. And if we look the recovery in our sectors, in hotels, also we are already growing. The position is mostly overall is already same like 2019, even some it's over than 2019. So the question is it we are satisfied with this condition, or actually how we can see it? Because if we look our neighbor, for example, like Thailand now it's already achieved in 2023 28 million international tourists, and Malaysia it's about 20.1 million tourists. Indonesia last year just only have 11.68 million tourists. So of course it's different with Bali. Pak Putu this morning already showing his presentation. Bali almost recovered like in 2019, almost 6 million tourists coming. But we can understand that Bali now is different with 2019. It's a lot of hard condition about the traffic, about the culture erosion, etc. as Pak Putu said. So actually, if we see the potential of Indonesia, we are as the players in the tourism, we are not satisfied with this condition. Actually, we still have really big space to grow, but again we have many obstacles in the tourism condition in Indonesia. For example, that up to now we don't have actively Indonesian tourism board. We don't have it. So how that we can promote this? Pak Manaf also said about the support from the Ministry of Tourism. It's very like the effort, etc. So many things. But the problem is that we don't have that institution. So if you ask about the condition, yes, if we compare to 2019, we are already recovered, but actually we are far behind with our neighbors. That's the situation. But we have the potential to grow.
Thank you. The minister this morning mentioned regarding tourism law. And then can you explain a bit what is the progress of tourism law and what can be expected from tourism law?
Yeah, the tourism law actually it is initiative by Parliament to amend our tourism law. But if we see their draft, actually not many not many new things that answer the problems in tourism. So majority of that articles it's normative offensive. So what is I said that about the part of the problems in the tourism. For example, like I said, we don't have promotion board. We don't have a tourism fund, as also mentioned by Minister this morning. So this is actually from our organization, from the GIPI, Gabungan Industri Pariwisata Indonesia. It's to put many inputs to the Parliament to solve these matters. The tourism fund that now government introduced to the people actually is not that in our input, our suggestion to the government, because in our suggestion, in our proposal to the government, the trust fund, the tourism fund, it's not just only take from the government, from the state-owned enterprise, but actually this is really the institution that independent. Independent means that they have the authority to manage the fund. And in our law in Indonesia, we have the Badan Layanan Umum. Badan Layanan Umum, it's like public fund. It's like a public fund institution, something like that. So this is actually that we want to use.
Thank you, Pak Haryadi. I would like to move to Pak Sabta. As an ex-regulator and now as a travel enthusiast, and you have been involved in a lot of tourism organizations globally, what do you see about the status, or where do we stand in terms of tourism development progress in Indonesia? Are we satisfied with development here?
I've been worried that Pak Budi asked me, will be the minister of the next cabinet? I think we can propose, don't worry. The society, civil society also can propose, the government will decide. I think this subject to be discussed with the politician. I'm not a politician, yes. Work by heart to the tourism sector is possible. Yeah, I think first of all, we have to appreciate this government during the Jokowi period, because this first time tourism is put as second priority development and economic sector. Even though 20 there is what we call COVID, but Pak Haryadi said already a little bit recover. I think this tourism put on or has been decided as second priority, super priority in development of economy in Indonesia. Not tourism development, tourism, but economy. You can imagine. Now, first is agriculture. Number two is tourism. How they translate, the government translate this important in what is daily program or in the implementation program. Second, they have a super priority in the destination. They have also put the super priority for the marketing. That I will not touch here a little bit for the next. I think for the next government will continue this approach, or we have to redefinition again for approaching the development of destination. I think this Indonesia, you know, we have so many attraction, so many what we call destination. You can imagine that we still need many of investors, need a partner for developing this the what we call destination and attraction. Still many things not really discovered. And they only just few islands, from 17,000, yes, big ones. 800 only just 3 islands: Sumatra, Bali, and NTB, some Labuan Bajo. But it's still many islands still not discovered in terms of tourism, in terms of attraction. I think we need a lot of development on this one. The government tend to, the approach, the policy is more top-down policy. Super priority is top-down policy, from central to local government. Why don't we think was because, big number for local government that we have 524. Well, 524. Mr. Manap can write down 1224. 524. If we look at Thailand, adapt with Thailand model, the one Tambun, one destination. 524 kabupaten have one destination. Then the destination can be brands of destination. I think this is very important also for tourism development. Many examples, success story like Banyuwangi is not super priority, but now you can imagine Ijen is one of the best destination. You can see only one or two in the world, what we call Blue Fire, and then also the surrounding that really ecosystem tourism there work very well. Then there's also Makassar. There's many of kabupaten has been done correctly in tourism. I think Pak Budi, we have to give lesson to learn to next government and maybe harmonize between top down and bottom up planning system. We give more initiative for the kabupaten or kota to develop their own destination. I think still many. Right now, here in next to the Bali, there's NTB, there's also NTD, Labuan Bajo, Rote, etc. This is still many attraction, very interesting. This one was for the destination. Second aspect, we have fundamentally 3A, or now PAPO-A, the accessibility. I think yes, airline is very important. The accessibility to Indonesia nowadays is not easy. I think that they have to really strong government emphasizes how we can more and more flight or more and more company to open inbound and outbound to Indonesia. I think that's important. Yes, of course, there's many criticize from impact of many of taxation and also cost of related with the airline. I think that can be reduced. There's integrated policy between government, between three sector, four sector, who is really related with the airline. This is accessibility is very important. Not only just airline. You know, you can imagine 17,000 island, 17,000 island. That means has to be also develop the what we call marine tourism. Marine tourism, Indonesia normally there's number one in the world. Not Maldives, not Hawaii, not only the other island like Seychelles. Indonesia has 70,000 islands. But if you're asking me, there is no hotelier who dare to open, Sea World Hotel. You can imagine. Only SPC, some in Australia, and Indonesia don't have that. There's cruise line. Cruise line is still underdeveloped. There's small and big, yes, not hotel, but this is also cruise related with hotel. And of course, we have many in Indonesia, Java, especially Marina, but the Sri Marina, but Marina in the way there's still less. The Bali is not developed really as a marina, international marina. You can see, you compare with Singapore, compare with Malaysia and Kawi, etc. Budi, this only two, because we can continue to give some important message for the next policies, for the next government policies, that the harmonization between top and down is very important. Okay.
Pak Haryadi, I understand that still a lot of homework. Indonesia has so much potential, but we have a lot of homework to do. From the standpoint of the private sector, the GP, how can GP voice out all these concerns to the government? And, well, straight to the point, is GP willing to be strong enough to advocate to the government, or especially the new government?
Yeah. In our perspective, the most important now actually to increase the inbound tourists. As you know, because you have also the hotels, our second market now, the government second market is about 40%. So I think this is not good in our perspective. So we should make it wider. So maybe if you are here from Thailand, maybe we can share it, because in Thailand most of their guests is from inbound. So why I said this is important if we want to growing the tourism, not just on the hotel, of course, we must have enlarged the numbers of the of the turnover of the business. So if we do like this, of course, just a minute. So if you are, because I see some of the audience here, it's from the architects, from the hotel operator, and related to hotel. Now, if you see here, the new hotel built in the past 2 years, mostly they are funded by themselves. It's, I think now, from the bank, from the financial institution, I think they are not really supporting us. Is it right? So you talk to the bank, I want to build the hotel, can you support? I don't think so that they want to support. So it means that the growing, I think it's really tough if we don't do for the international. And if you see the growth of Malaysia, why they grow quite rapid now, just from the Penang and from the KL, just only from the medical, they get it a lot. And the people come there for the medical, it's from Indonesia. The people going to Bangkok, also mostly they are from Indonesia for shopping. So now, if you don't have like that kind of effort to make it bigger, the income, I think we are quite stuck. Because why? Because in Indonesia itself, the local purchasing power also we are struggling. We don't know about the new government, but in the past Pak Jokowi regime and the new regime, mostly they are populist. Yeah, we have a lot of investment, but if you see the ICOR index, incremental capital output ratio, we are is not efficient. 6.5, I think the score. Comparing with India, but I think 3.5 the ICOR. So it means that our investment also not really can give the added value. So that's a point. So if we want to go there, I think the inbound. One thing, but also like the cruise business. Everyone knows Indonesia is an archipelago country. Our shoreline is it's the second longest in the world after Canada, and from the west to the east, about 5,000 kilometers. From the north to the south, it's about 2,500 kilometers. So it means that if we really serious for the marine tourism, for the cruise, we can make it. It's like the third largest destination in the world after Caribbean, Mediterranean.
All right. We've got some questions from the audience, and I think I'm gonna run it through. Maybe this one can be answered by Ariati. How can we sustain beyond Bali or Jakarta tourism when a plane ticket to destination like Sumba costs more than flying to Japan? So this is talking about the high ticket cost.
Yeah. Okay. So now, if you are comparing to the neighbor country, our fuel for the airplane is higher comparing. So now in the August, if I'm not wrong, in the August price, our F2, the fuel for airplane, around 14,000 in Rupiah, about 14,000. Comparing with the Malaysia and Thailand, they are around 12,000, 11,000. So just only from the after. Why our fuel is costly? Because our fuel government charge for the tax, for the added value tax. So in that structure we already know. And also for the ground handling. Ground handling, if you comparing in Jakarta, the passenger service charge around 120,000 rupiah, comparing with Malaysia and also with Thailand. I compare with the two because they are very aggressive in tourism. They are around half of our charge. So here also Indonesia, the competition I think is not really perfect because like Lion out their market share about 70% of all the capacity. So it means that if the competition dominated by one group, so they can manage the price in the high side.
Okay, and we hope that GP can fight for the industry in terms of the ticket price. Sabto, you want to add something on that?
Yeah, that's the number two question that says related to the my statement, first statement, one regional and one global country that should be inspired our government. I think the ideas inspired we have just 1 or 2 5 years super priority. That's good one in order to really to accelerate the destination development or attraction development. But we need also, since I have explained that we have many potential, you know, the destination or attraction in tourism. You can see even though despite the ticket is very high, as already mentioned, but you can imagine Nihiwatu in Sumba is doing well. It's in Sumbawa Besar, Sumbawa. This Nihiwatu, this is cost $3,000 per night. There's still many clients. They can, I don't know, they come with private jet or come with the normal jet. I mean normal transportation or airline. And I think that's important. And also next, that's we have to explore more the marine tourism, because marine tourism is also important. Like Raja Ampat, there's many, you know, specific, there was special interest boutique, special interest hotel. I think this can be open for the investor, new investor. Yeah, of course, against the what we call the transport or air transport has to be solved by the new government, because this already really become bottleneck for inbound tourism. That's also we cannot compete with our neighbor country, and actually even in competitive index we are increasing the number 22, but in terms of number arrival we are number beyond the even the Vietnam. I think that has to be this challenging and for industry tourism, and of course for the next government integrated policies.
We have a few more questions. I think the next question may be Pak Haryadi, the next 2 questions. Your main hope for the hotel industry for the new government, and can you comment on the ease of doing business for the hotel industry in Indonesia?
Yeah, okay, thank you, Pak Budi. So our hope is the first is the relaxation for financing the hotel, because since even from before COVID, actually the support for the hotel business is quite less. So we really hope that the relaxation to support the hotel industry become happen. Then also the second one, as I said, we need to enlarge the inbound. I think this is very important. And then the third, I think about the regulation, because here we have many regulation that always shocking me. For example, the last government introduced the excise for the ready food, for the content, the sugar. What's your English? Sweetener. Yeah. So now we also have that kind of another cost. So I think it's better that not put any regulation that can impact the cost. Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 minutes left. Still from the audience.
I think I can ask about the ease of doing business in hotel industry in Indonesia.
Please.
Yeah. I think now actually for ease of doing business, if you compare about 10 years ago, it's more easier now. I think, but I think the problem now just only about the financing. Yeah. But about the regulation, I think now become easy. So if you are as the investors wants to invest in Indonesia, I think now it's easier.
By all means, I think yes, we have a lot of homework toward the future. But if there is any concern from the industry, of course, we can channel it to the GP, and then we can, from the association, we can talk it to the government. For the last minute, maybe I would like to ask Pak Sabta and Pak Riyadi, what would be the criteria of the new minister?
Yeah, that's he or she, I don't know, or the still same can continue to have same dedication. Of course, they have to have sense of tourism. They have to understand that it works by heart in tourism. That's important. And then has to be a very communicative one. Why? Because tourism needs coordination, needs synergize, needs collaboration. It's not easy, especially in the government, because I have experience in government 35 years, and things is not easy to convince even the colleagues of minister. That has to be really strong, emphasize strong policy matters, and then come up together for the nation. I think that's.
Pak Riyadi, maybe?
Yeah, I think I just add Pak Sabta. Become the tourism minister in Indonesia, it's very tough. It's because the Ministry of Tourism is the third tier in our structure of the cabinet. This ministry, they don't have enough fund to make the promotion, etc. So I think the becoming a minister should be can make more cooperative with us. That's important because it's really
That could be
more
creative make money, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's like Pak Sandi. I think it's quite difficult because even now the Ministry of Finance cutting his budget.
All right. Okay, last question for Pak Haryadi. If you're being nominated to become the next minister, would you take it?
I think I prefer to like this because as minister I should report everything to the KPK. It's not good.
All right. With that, we wrap up this session, and thank you very much for the attention. And hopefully, what we discussed will inspire and becoming knowledge for everyone. Thank you.